Hi everybody, welcome back to Cage Minds. This is part 2 of our UFC 134 preview and prediction show. I'm your host Micah. We're going to get back to talking about the main card now. And then at the end I'll wrap up and give you an overview of everything, all of the in-depth predictions. So the first fight that we have for the pay-per-view card is Louise Kane, who's 12-3 with one no contest, taking on the debuting Stanislav Nedvik, who's 11-0. Louise Kane is an exciting fighter. He uses his stand-up ability. He lives by the sword. He dies by the sword. He's had a lot of quick knockouts, some quick knockout losses. He's an exciting fighter. Nedkov is coming into the UFC as the Bulgarian fighting pride. Great wrestler, ground and pound, has submission ability, more than proficient with his ground capabilities. 5 TKOs with 4 submissions. He's a stocky, kind of powerful guy. Looks like a power weight lifter. I've seen him push around guys watching some YouTube videos. You look at Louise Kane. He's a striker. He's a brawler. He needs to use his kicks. He's going to need to move around. He's a taller, skinnier guy. So if they do get in the clinch, if it does get to the cage, it's going to get to the ground. I think that Nedkov will be in a more advantageous position. I think his power, his wrestling ability, he's definitely going to be the best wrestler that Kane has had to deal with in his mixed martial arts career. I think it's going to be a successful debut for Nedkov. I think the wrestling, I think it's going to be a different kind of style than Kane has had to deal with. And I think his power, the wrestling abilities, it's world-class style. It's going to be a bad mixture for Louise Kane. The next fight is going to be the real deal. Ross Pearson, who's 14-4, taking on Edson Barbosa, who's 8-0. This, I'm going to see, is primarily a striking battle. Ross Pearson likes to strike. He uses his boxing styling. He's probably one of the most, I'd say, well-rounded British MMA prospects that there is. He has good submissions. He has more than high-quality wrestling for being British. The Brazilian, Edson Barbosa, is a striking specialist. A former Muay Thai kickboxer who was 25-3, had 17 first-round finishes. He had an excellent UFC debut in a primarily striking war with Anthony Njokuani. He beat him soundly. I think that he's going to have more weapons at his disposal than Pearson. I know Pearson has a good clinch game. He can work it. He has the good submission skills. Comes in with a good game plan. I don't think that his wrestling or his clinch is going to be good enough to really stifle Barbosa. Barbosa is going to be the physically bigger man. I think his Muay Thai clinch will be more effective. I think his knees, his elbows, his leg kicks, it's going to be a barrage of strikes. He's going to be the more successful striking fighter in this. I'd like Edson Barbosa to have a victory in his homeland of Brazil over Ross Pearson. That takes us to Brendan the Hybrid Schaub, who's 9-1, taking on Antonio Rodrigo Minotauro Nogueira, who's 32-6, won with one no contest. Brendan Schaub, as of late, has been known as the legend killer. He's going to look to do that again. A knockout of Krokov. Can he knock out Nogueira? Nogueira is coming back home to Rio, to Brazil. He feels rejuvenated. He feels alive again. He's also coming in with a lot of ring rust. 18-month layoff. 2 hip surgeries, a knee surgery. It's a long time to be away from action, to come in now and primarily fight a guy that uses his boxing, his wrestling, his striking for Schaub. We've seen Schaub, as we did against Krokov. He has this football player physical strength. He puts his head down, he can push you, he can get the takedown. If he gets the takedown, it's probably not the best thing in the world for him, because Nogueira can slap on a leg lock, could probably use some more high-level submissions that Schaub may not be as proficient with or know the defense for. So Nogueira has chances here. Nogueira, though, talks a lot about his improving boxing skills. If he does decide to try to use those, I think that Schaub has the crisper punches, definitely the harder punches. He's the younger, hotter commodity. I think this is not a good matchup for Nogueira. I think it's more of a pride thing that the whole world will get to see him fight. He is a former UFC and Pride heavyweight champion. He's a legend, a pioneer in the sport, but I think Brendan Schaub has the momentum. I think he has the power. He has the capabilities. It's his time. I think Brendan Schaub will be victorious in this bout. That takes us to the co-main event of the night, where former UFC light heavyweight champion Mauricio Shogun Rua, who's 19-5, takes on Ultimate Fighter 1 winner, former UFC light heavyweight champion Forrest Griffin, who's 18-6. Shogun is dealing with another knee injury. He came back from the knee injury to the John Jones fight, lost his title. He came back from a knee injury, joined the UFC, lost to Forrest. So Forrest knows all too well how Shogun fights with a knee injury. But after the knee injury, Shogun beat and looked all right against Coleman. Not his best performance, but then beat Liddell, beat Machida twice, only once officially. Forrest Griffin is not the same fighter he was the first time he fought Shogun either. Now he uses more technique. He doesn't come in there and brawl all crazily. He sticks to a game plan. The game plan. His size, his newfound wrestling ability, his improving jiu-jitsu skills. I think his size, his strength, his power. Forrest will probably muscle around, walk Shogun down. In the stand-up, he needs to use his reach advantage. He needs to stay away. When Shogun gets in close, he needs to go for the clinch, the takedowns, a trip. He needs to watch the legs because we know from the John Jones fight, we know from a lot of Shogun's other fights, he likes to dive for legs when he gets on the ground, likes to dive underneath. If it's a healthy Shogun, we can see a great fight. He can avoid the takedowns. He can strike. He has the potential to outpoint, even knock out Forrest. If Forrest stays on top, if he's able to walk him down, if he's able to use the size, the power, which I'm predicting he will be, I think that Shogun will again need another fight. I think that we'll see a Forrest victory. But Shogun is home. That crowd could do a lot for him. He has the potential, but he also has another body that's been through a lot of pride wars, a lot of shooter wars. We should hopefully, though, see a great bout between those two competitors. This takes us up to the main event of the night. We're probably the greatest MMA fighter of all time, as of right now. UFC middleweight champion Anderson the Spider Silva is 28-4. Takes on probably Japan's greatest mixed martial artist, Yushin Thunder Okami, who's 27-5. Anderson Silva is the longest reigning current UFC champion that there is within the 7 weight classes. He's also riding the 11-fight win streak. Okami is the last man to have a victory over Silva, even though it was just via a disqualification. Anderson Silva with a kick, well, both men were grounded, illegal head kick. That takes us to where Anderson Silva, though, now both men are in the UFC. Anderson Silva is the champion. Can Okami solve the puzzle of Silva? Okami is supposed to have the better wrestling. He's training with Chael Sonnen, a man that had great wrestling against Anderson Silva, probably had the best fight in MMA history with Anderson Silva. But for the wrestling, Anderson Silva's been working with Mark Munoz, trying to improve it. The submission game that comes from that wrestling on the ground, Anderson Silva has submitted Chael Sonnen, Dan Henderson, Travis Lutter. So he's no slouch on the ground. I'd have to say he's a better submission guy. Getting it to the ground, I said wrestling on paper, Okami has better. He also has better judo. He has a black belt in that. We talk about the striking game. Anderson Silva is a phenomenal Muay Thai striker. I think he'll probably have a better clinch with his Muay Thai clinch. Okami is a strong guy. He likes his boxing. I don't know how well he is with his dirty boxing. Don't really see him use it too much. He's pretty good with his strikes, but I think he's not as fast as Anderson. Anderson has the punches and bunches. I've heard Okami say lately he'd like to fight defensive, kind of. So I'm predicting that the fight will definitely start off slow between the two. That Okami's not going to push the presser. Anderson may feel some pressure to put on a show for the fans, but we all know he likes to fill it out. So this could wait till the 3rd or 4th round to really get some good action going. People are expecting that Okami would be the one to beat Anderson because he's the last one to have beat Anderson. I don't think he's going to be that successful. Until someone really beats Anderson Silva that we see here on these terms, I don't think he's going to get caught in a crazy submission like he did in some of his other losses. I think that the legend continues. Anderson Silva will be victorious. So now I'm going to give you the full predictions for the whole UFC 134. We're going to start with Johnny Eduardo taking the fight on short notice, winning with a unanimous decision. Ivan Loveland, I think he's going to have a great fight with Yves Dubuin. We're going to see grappling. We're going to see striking. I think it's going to be close, a split decision close. Yuri Alcantara is a monster, and I think he's going to win with a 2nd round rear naked choke and an impressive debut. Husamar Palhares, the leg lock king, I think it will be an armbar in the third round after a grueling fight with Dan Miller. I think he'll get a submission on another extremity, a little less predictable. That takes us to a unanimous decision victory for the debuting Eric Silva. I think Paulo Thiago is going to have a unanimous decision victory also with a longer fight with Dave Mitchell. Thiago Tavares and Spencer Fisher. I think that Tavares will win this via unanimous decision, but there's a chance he could get clipped, caught, and knocked out by Fisher. That's an intriguing fight to watch. Stedlov Netkov, I think he's going to have a unanimous decision. The wrestling, the top game, I think he's going to stifle Kane and control it. Edison Barbosa, I think we'll have a second round TKO somewhere towards the end of the round. I think it's going to be a fast pace. I just think that the leg kicks, the knees, he's going to use some elbows. He'll get Ross Pearson, who's going to be the bigger fighter, and walk him down. Brendan Schaub, the legend killer, I think he'll get that next notch. I think somewhere in the second round, he'll have a knockout. I mean, a one-shot knockout, kind of Crow Cop-esque. He has that kind of power, and Nogueira likes to stand and brawl kind of like that as of late. Co-main event, Forrest Griffin. I think we're going to have a split decision just because I'm giving it that much respect. I don't think either man will really finish each other. If it's a finish, it's more likely to be a Shogun finish. So I'm thinking split decision. I think we'll have some disagreement about the takedown, something, but I think Forrest will attain the victory by the end of it. And the main event, Anderson Silva, until someone else beats him. I'm figuring with the slow start, him want to do something impressive. Third or fourth round TKO. It'll be an accumulation of punches. Okami has a really solid chin. Those are my predictions for Cage Minds. Also follow us. I'll be talking on Twitter at Micah Frankel during the fights. Everyone enjoy UFC 134. I'll be back with my review, my results, and tell you guys how my predictions did. Bye.